All righty. So as I'm looking at the screen that's saying it's preparing to live stream, it probably already is live streaming because this is what happens every time. So I'm just going to talk until I get the green light from the internet here. And I think we're good. I'm assuming we're good. We're just going to assume we're good. So, all right, here we are. So Madelaine Parker and Amalia Natalio coming in to your living room, office, car, wherever, maybe on a walk, you're listening to us. And we're here to talk about the Sagittarius full moon that is on May 23rd at 9:53 a.m. Eastern, 2 degrees, 54 minutes. And
pretty early in the morning, I think, on PST.
Yeah, so that'd be 6:53.
5 or 6 in the morning, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna start just like we usually start. I'm gonna give everyone kind of my little download of what I see and feel is coming from the energetic standpoint. And then Madelaine's going to share all the magic and beauty of this new moon and the aspects to it. Or I'm sorry, full moon and the aspects to it. So, when I was tuning into this Sagittarian vibe, whenever I think of Sagittarius, I think of obviously fire because it's a fire sign. I think of the archer, which is the archetype, and that archer pulls the bow back, only letting go when sure that the aim is true, that arrow is going to hit the target. And I don't know if anyone's done archery, but I took a couple of archery classes, and one thing they were saying is that when you pull the arrow, or you pull the bow back and you have the arrow ready to fly, you may have to move a little bit in order to get in the right spot. I think with anything of that type. And this Sagittarian energy kind of reminds me of that too. It's that seeking. Okay, let me lining up with just the right thing. And this feels very much like that type of energy of seeking and searching. It feels very spiritual too. There's a spiritual component to the energy that's happening right now. I feel like part of that is the shift of Jupiter shifting from Taurus into Gemini on May 25th, which I'm sure Madelaine will be talking about because that has an impact on what's going on right now and will be going on for the next over a year, I believe May 25th of this year to June 9th of 2025, something like that. So there's a lasting impact of this Jupiter move from Taurus into Gemini. And, when you think about Jupiter expanding everything, it's benefic, but Jupiter doesn't love Gemini. So while it's expansive and feels good, there's going to be maybe some hiccups for some signs along the way because of it. But coming back into this full moon energy, it's reflect back on December 12th of 2023, which was the Sagittarius new moon. What was happening around that time? Were you focused on a project? It was the end of the year. Was there something you were completing, or was there something you were thinking about starting for the new year? Like, what was going on in your world? And what has happened since then? Has that project been completed? Are you still in process? Are there things that are highlighted during this full moon period that you might be able to do to complete it? Was it maybe a little bit too materially focused? You were focused more on the money part of it versus maybe the spiritual part of it. You were thinking more about self instead of all. And, where can you maybe make some fine tunes and tweaks? Now, the other thing I'd like to mention, which I'm sure Madelaine will talk about too, but it struck me when I was looking at the aspects to this moon. The moon is opposing the sun, Venus, Jupiter, and Uranus. That's a lot of oppositional energy. And a lot of that energy relates to emotions, obviously because of the moon, but Venus can also be emotional. Uranus initiates that feeling of change, but likely due to an emotional impetus. And then Jupiter, I don't know, it feels like Jupiter's expanding that need for care and comfort and feeling okay with whatever you're doing, whatever you're seeking, whatever you're searching for. And it also feels very optimistic. So it's like whatever right now you feel like is giving your life meaning, keep focusing on that. Keep moving towards that, because that is, as I think Madelaine says this all the time, let's live your Jupiter. Live your Jupiter. What is giving you meaning? And I know for myself, I've been feeling a lot of energy to get things done and to be very focused on how it impacts other people as well. And, I think that's a great reminder for all of us coming into each day, is how will my actions, my words, my energy affect the people around me? And can I bring a bright light to a room? I went to have a mammogram this morning. I haven't had one in quite some time. And they are closing this facility, and people were a little agitated, and everybody was like trying to get their records and panicking and freaking out. And it was just a lot of like amped up energy. And the gal that I dealt with was very sweet. And at the end of it, I just said, can I give you a hug? I just feel like you are doing such a great job. And I would just love to thank you for that. And she got the biggest smile on her face and it seemed to me like she felt so seen and acknowledged. And she said, that really means a lot to me. And I thought, what are these like small little things that we can do for people in our day-to-day lives that make such an impact? And they don't require anything from us other than us being kind and loving to other people. So anyway, that's not really based on the moon. That's just kind of what's happening right now. But a great little story, I think, for everyone to take with them on their day. So Madelaine, what are your thoughts? What's going on?
Well, I thought you did really well, Amalia. I'm impressed. You're really.
Thank you.
I find that when people study astrology, it starts to click, doesn't it? You start to kind of figure it out. And I thought you did a great job there.
Thank you. Yeah, I think too, when you're working with people and you're looking at charts all the time, it helps. And, I'm looking at astrology and human design and the gene keys, and all three are looking at similar things through different angles. And when you start to put those pieces together, it's really helpful, which I would like to just plug one thing I'm sharing on social is I'm sharing about the gene keys on social media, which connects directly to astrology, but we're looking at it with a little bit different languaging and a little bit of a different lens. And it's just a great place that people can contemplate without needing to know really anything about where any planets are. It's just following what the gene key is for that 6-day cycle. And I'm sharing that on all social media platforms. And it's just a really simple contemplation for each day. And I'm really excited about it. And I'm also creating a community around some of this work. So yeah, stay tuned, check out my social media for all sorts of info on that. And my website too. Eventually I'll have that set up. So yeah.
That's so cool, Moon Sagittarius.
Yes.
Well, wow. Did you want me to talk now? Are you done, or?
I think I'm done talking. Yes. Thank you, Madelaine.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen and pop right in, because you really gave us a lot of the information. You tapped on some really key points here. The main thing, this also, you want to look back at that date. You mentioned the date in December 12th. Actually, yeah, you said, I think December 12th, 2023, we did have the new moon, but it was at a higher degree. It was like at about a 19 or 20 degrees, somewhere up there. And then this full moon, and that, by the way, that new moon does correspond with what manifests here, but also so does it in the new moon, or the new moon we had November 23rd, 2022, which was going to be which is at this exact same degree point.
Ooh, interesting.
So yeah, so basically this is an area in our birth chart, because Jupiter is the guru, which is the teacher. So we're either learning or we're teaching, and it's spiritual. You absolutely nailed that when you said where have we been too material and not spiritual, because this is the part of the sky in Vedic, which is Scorpio, which is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is our true spiritual teacher through hardship, through blockages, that we really grow and we become a diamond, like you said. And that part of the sky is victory in the end. It's the star of success. It is represented by the lotus flower, which is blooming through out of muddy water. We bloom. And it's winning in the end because it's a Saturnian energy, and it's when you make the transformation from seeking the spiritual to the material to the spiritual. Because what happens is, and then I'm just going to quickly jump in on a story here, because we have this full moon is trining Pluto, the sun is trining Pluto, but moon is sextiling Pluto. That's very close to that degree point of the Jupiter Saturn conjunction on 2020, December 21. So it was at 0 degrees Aquarius, and Pluto is going back and forth over this 0 degree point. And what was that Jupiter Uranus conjunction all about? It was about walking the path of our calling and our career coming together, heeding the call, because your astrology and your calling and what you truly want to do is going to be what you were designed for, because it's what you desire. You want to do it. That's what this full moon is about, something that you genuinely desire from a good place to do. And so then we've got this 0 degree point in Aquarius, which is about technology, which liberates the people. Initiating the new era of Aquarius, which is all about modern technologies that liberate the people. And so we're initiating that journey. And by the way, it's people walking their own path, not dependent on the government, not on the grid, people walking their gifts and their skills and what they naturally are, which is in your astrology chart, causing you to manifest your most abundant path, because that was your calling. Jupiter is how you make your most money. That's your calling path, right? So we initiated these journeys in 20. We heeded the calling. A lot of people did, and if not, you were too afraid. It was in there in your head, rattling around. You're just gaining the confidence to do it, because Pluto here at that point is transforming our fears and giving us our power back, so that we initiate these new beginnings that will bring us into the age of Aquarius. But it isn't easy, and we've all initiated this journey. This is in our spiritual houses. So it's because the new earth is going to be more spiritual, because it's more balanced. It's not super material. It is equal, actually, yin and yang. It's balanced. So in our spiritual houses is where we're all having to do most of the work, because we have to evolve spiritually in order to be in this new timeline. We have much higher consciousness. We have to let go of old programming. So that's because this is that 0 degree point in Aquarius, which is new technologies, the birth of the new future. And it's not what we can think. Our mind isn't open. This is a mind opening full moon in Sagittarius, because our minds are not capable of perceiving things. We can only think about what we know, which is why spirituality and downloads, which is what happens when Jupiter goes to Gemini, we get downloads, because the vision and the higher possibilities come from above. And that's Jupiter expands the higher visions, the good, the higher philosophically advanced, because we're growing philosophically and spiritually. So Jupiter, we're supposed to expand that. So Jupiter in the Jupiter Saturn conjunction in 2020 was where we took a path, which was our soulful fulfillment calling that will make the world better. And that's Aquarius. So this full moon trining Pluto right here, there's the moon at 2 degrees Sagittarius, the sun at 2 degrees Gemini. Jupiter is 1 degree away from coming into Gemini. Jupiter will come into Gemini in June, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But basically what's happening is Pluto is showing us. So when you get onto this path of your independent age of Aquarius path, which is going to be supported by the universe, because when we're doing what the era promotes, you win. Because during Aries era, if you wanted to invade a country, you did very well, the Romans. But right now it's about independent people walking independently with a service that is needed by the people. That helps people become more abundant and independent. So we're going to be more supported by it. That's going to be more supported. So, but we have to get over the fears of that, because it goes against our paradigm thinking, which is we need security, we need more money. The only way we feel really secure is if we have a lot of backup money in the account, right? Well, Jupiter's about blind faith. It's about, so a lot of people who've taken that initiative have been promised abundance because that's what Jupiter promises, haven't seen it yet. And they keep going, well, when are we going to see this? But what this full moon says is it's victory in the end of that nakshatra that it's in, Anuradha. I'm studying all kinds of astrology right now. So interested in the stars and constellations and mythology. But anyway, the path to this new earth is not paved in gold the whole way. It's like, it's a struggle. The reason it's a struggle is because the paths worth taking are struggles. There, and so we get people who we want that security, but what we have to have is the blind faith of Jupiter, because this is not the secure path. That's why we're changing. We're not walking secure paths because that's the past. So anyway, this full moon is helping us along this journey that has seemed fruitless, that is just ongoing, that's been a struggle. And you can just chart back all the Pisces too, because this is involving our Pisces house. So you can chart back all the Sagittarius and Gemini new moons, full moons, the eclipses, and you'll see that it's all the theme that right now we're going to start seeing hope around and reinvigoration of faith. It's the Eight of Wands in that ring that I look at I'll show it.
Yeah, show it.
Yeah. Create a little bit more interesting stuff to look at.
Yeah, it's fun. And meanwhile, I'm gonna sip on my cacao and drink out of my Stay Wild Moonchild mugs that one of my clients, shout out to Kiki, love you, girl, gave to me. It was such a nice little thing. So nice little gift.
Yeah, so we have this wheel, and I just don't know where it's from, but I've seen it in various things. I just go down the rabbit hole on charts and things like this. Anyway, there it is. We're at the beginning degrees of Sagittarius, which represents by the Eight of Wands, which is a fire energy, and it is communication. And it's the Mercury sign under there. So we've got communication, ideas, because the sun is going into Gemini, by the way. So here's the other side of this, is that Pluto trine, which I was showing you, that Pluto trine is all about some kind of truth, because Sagittarius is the truth, right? And Pluto is hidden and revealing things that empower us. So truths are coming out. Gemini, information, knowledge, that Jupiter's going to come in there. We are going to be so rapid with ideas, solutions. Gemini is selling things. The Pluto in the degree point of new technologies that liberate us, that give us our power back. And then we've got the sun here coming into Gemini. Jupiter's about in Gemini, you get a lot of visions, a lot of ideas that are outside the box, that are expansive ideas. But shadow could be people getting rigidly dogmatic about religion and spirituality. But the thing about the Sagittarius full moon is we're really breaking through some sort of rigid thinking. Some kind of the age of Aquarius is open-minded. Gemini is supposed to be open-minded. This is about learning. We really want to have very open minds here, because these are totally uncharted waters. Our humanity is walking. So these are ideas. So like, for instance, an example, last night I had a sauna and I was talking with the woman who runs it, and she was reading an article about saunas eliminating plastics from our system. And then I just watched a whole YouTube video about research about plastic and how it's just dropping the fertility rate, because it's when you eat with a plastic spoon, you're getting plastic in you. All this plastic that we're using is really bad for our health. And so this knowledge is coming out, this Pluto, it's in Gemini, the sun, this is all sort of coming out right now, which is that these plastics are harming our health. And so now we're coming up with ideas and solutions, like boom, quick. Eight of Wands is a very quick energy. The sun in the sign of Gemini, Eight of Wands, rapid ideas, rapid solutions. We're moving very quickly. By the way, all the planets are direct except for Pluto, although they are in combustion, which makes me want to make sure we say that Jupiter is currently the ruler of this full moon, and it is in combustion. It won't be out of combustion until about June 2nd, but oh my gosh, So things are really repressed still. Saturn in Pisces, but watch what happens when we get out of combustion here with Jupiter in June, early June, because Jupiter's going to be in the sign of Gemini, and we're really going to see everything starting to really go forward. The new beginnings. There's going to be a lot of rapid movement until Saturn goes retrograde in July, I think. So, recapping. This is very progressive times in general because of this Pluto going back and forth over the 0-degree point here again. It's really hovering at this one point, which is really interesting because it's really making everybody wake up and start their independent path. But also it's making us address our fears of financial security, which is teaching us we have to have faith because we're walking a path that's never been, there's no truly secure path, really. Even what you think is secure is not really necessarily. Really, our own true security is in God or our relationship with our higher self. So being guided by our higher, being connected, that, so astrology for me. But anyway, so we've got this Pluto empowering us to take initiatives to build the new earth, to step in here and advance the information, and the people are going to do it, not the government. This is like, people running the saunas, or other healing modalities with new information, supporting their projects with true information, which is Gemini, which is the micro, supporting the spiritual path, because we're getting more. Even my father, who is a big atheist, and that's fine. We love having intelligent debates about a lot of things. He's asking me questions about a lot of stuff like this. Like, I'm just really blown away. So we're getting like the exploratory mind opening up, because things are coming out, revealing with that Pluto, that are making people open up their minds and want to learn more and know more about this. And because by learning more and knowing more about this, we're going to find the solutions, which is going to take us into the age of Aquarius. And the abundance may not seem here yet, but we have to have the blind faith, because you want to keep that path on that path. And this full moon will deliver us something that keeps us on the path and a step forward. And shall we say, a reinvigoration of faith. But like you said, there is a spiritual lesson that had to be achieved before we can bear these fruits. That's that part of the sky it's in, the lotus flower. So,
Madelaine, I wanted to piggyback off of something that you shared earlier around just the conversation that you had with a woman at the sauna, and that she was talking about plastics and you had just seen a video about plastics. What I've been noticing a lot lately is all the synchronicities that happen in life, where just like that, like someone starts talking about a topic that you just saw a video on, and then you're able to maybe give her information she didn't know, or you give or she gives you information you didn't know, and then you just keep expanding. And so I guess my
that's kind of Jupiter on Gemini right there.
Well, so I mean, that makes sense. But I think for everybody, just pay attention to those synchronicities. Even with your dad, I feel like there's a component of he's closed off to it, but all these things keep happening that he can't explain. So then he just starts to get curious. And so I feel like I need to say to everyone listening, just be curious about the synchronicities and the things that happen in your life that seem odd or out of the ordinary, because they're probably important in some way for you, whether it's information that's coming in or just just a feeling of, wow, there really is a lot more going on here than I realized. Like, there's no way that person could have known this or that or whatever. And it opens them up to the possibilities that exist. So I think it's really cool, because I feel like we're all evolving and growing. Even the people don't realize what's happening. They're evolving and growing to a certain extent. And we have this connectivity. It's almost like all these electrical currents are finally, finding each other and like talking to each other. And it's like, oh, this is really cool. And the more we do that, the easier life feels, and the more you line up with those synchronicities, and the path to where you would like to be doesn't feel quite as challenging. And I feel like we're being supported in that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that this full moon comes at a time when people's faith is low. When the journey just seems like, okay, it's not, that's it, I'm giving up on it. There is a surrender element to it. It's like, okay, there's a giving up on the struggle, because we're in such limbo land that people can't see what to do, because we're at the end of our brain's ability to expand here. So that's why it's going to be so great when Jupiter goes into Gemini, because now we're getting information and knowledge. Like, for instance, the sauna thing. Now, I know she's doing great. I'm not saying that's her situation, but I know a lot of people who do feel this way. And but it's like this new information then, because Gemini it is a selling energy too, which then enables her to really promote the benefits of her sauna, which is super important now that that's a big factor involved. But she's, I'm not saying it's fact. She's researching it, which is so interesting, because the independent walkers now with Gemini and Jupiter are supporting with knowledge, with true information.
It's cool.
Which is what Jupiter is going to reveal. Writing of the Pluto this full moon will reveal.
Well, let's see what's revealed for Aries. And
all right,
let's look at them, see what's going on here. And as always, I am using the LOTUSWEI Flower Evolution deck to share a little plant medicine magic for each sign. And I have one product I really would like to mention for everyone in general, if anyone's interested. And if you use my first name on their website, you get 10% off. I do not get anything for this, just something I just feel very strongly about the products. This is called, oh, you can't really see it, but this is a full bloom spray. And it's a great spray for times like this, like you're coming into full bloom. It's spring, the flowers are beginning to grow and really blossom. And I feel like we're all in this opportunity and this energetic of being able to fully blossom and shine our light and grow. And I just love, it smells so
Did you
luscious.
lotus?
Pardon?
Sorry, not to interrupt you, but did you say lotus?
This is not a lotus, but the company is LOTUSWEI. I know you were talking about lotus before.
Talk about synchronicities.
This has got, this has a bunch of flowers in it because it's a blend. It has, hold on. I'm having trouble reading this because it's white letters on green. And it's like,
okay, but anyway, just I heard you say the word lotus, and I just thought we just talked about synchronicity, and this nakshatra flower is the lotus, which is breaking out.
It is, yeah. And I'm sure that it's going to come up at some point. So there's lavender, coriander, spearmint, nutmeg, eucalyptus, night blooming cereus flower, the banana yucca flower, bamboo, papaya flower, and yarrow, along with.
Talk about selling. You should sell this.
Oh, lotus is in it. Lotus is in it. And
the fact that your deck is the lotus flower deck as well.
The lotus, well, it's the LOTUSWEI products. Like I love their stuff. They're just awesome. And this is one of my favorite aura mists. It just smells so delicious. I have a few of them here on my desk, but they're fantastic. So yeah, if anyone wants to check that out, lotuswei.com, use Amalia in the discount box, you'll get 10% off I think your first order. I don't know about after that. Yeah, and I was selling them for a while, and then it was just too hard to keep. I didn't want to keep things in stock. It's like just order directly from them. Yeah, much easier. All right, so Aries, what's going on with them, Madelaine?
Well, Aries are going to have Gemini. The sun is in your third house, so the moon is going to be in your ninth. So, I mean, this is very interesting because this is for Gemini. So, I'm sorry, for Aries, Gemini is the third house. You know, everything lines up to the sign, to the house for Aries rising. So, it's writing, communication, it's your website, it's short distance travel. It's possibly a spiritually, now what we mean by that is something that fulfills you on a soul level, on a spiritual level, like it deeply fulfills you, like you said, gives meaning. And then it's going to be of help to the earth because it's benefic. That's Jupiter. So it feels like it's time to do it. You're having some sort of, but now there are some challenges in this full moon as well. Don't forget, there is possibly arguments because Jupiter, because of these energies that can, with Pluto in the pictures, it can always be intense. So sometimes if it's hitting in your third house, there could be spiritual debates or arguments. Now, when I say spiritual, it could just be difference between one religion or another, or a belief or non-belief. But anyway, there's something communicating, and this has been an ongoing thing. Unless you're young and you're a teenager, this is a new journey for you. And around beliefs, ideas, information, knowledge. So there's a revelational energy about this full moon. So revealing of information and knowledge that transforms your opinion, that transforms you, that opens up your mind, that gives you a whole new spiritual belief, that makes you maybe believe in something that you didn't. You may suddenly become awakened to astrology. You may want to learn astrology. The full moon is revealing something. So, and Jupiter ruled full moons is the teacher. Now remember, Jupiter's in combustion, so we may not see it for a little bit yet. But I'm sure we're going to see something now, but then we really takes off in June, when Jupiter goes out of combustion. It has to be 11 degrees out of range of the sun. So for Aries, you know, you've got this full moon in your ninth house, opening up your mind, changing your whole opinion about things, maybe making you want to write something or take on a project or go to school and learn more. And now it is also the house of travel, so that you may wake up to wanting to travel and teach. But again, you may suddenly discover yourself in a position to teach or to travel. Or to travel and speak, because Gemini is in the third house, so communication.
So maybe both, a little bit of both.
Let me think of what else. Oh, it could be to start a business, a spiritual business, or a spiritual pursuit, an idea you've had to run a business. But it's going to involve selling, because Gemini, this is a Mercury selling. And then also it's going to involve knowledge and information, ideas around new knowledge and information. It could be technological communication. You could start a new whole social media platform because you have a new belief, a spiritual belief that it's how we're going to save the earth, that we're pulling together somehow. You know, you could, what else? Now this would have been a struggle. So this new knowledge that wakes you up ends the struggle. So you're no longer, you get it now. And so now you're able to make more abundant. You're able to take it to the next step. You're able to hire, charge for it, maybe that kind of a thing. So it's expansive knowledge and information that wakes you up, that then increases your true path and your spiritual path, giving reinvigoration of faith and financial stability around it. In a nutshell.
That's a lot right there. Well, if we want to flower.
Sorry, I know there's a lot on this full moon. I remember right before I came in, I said, I've got to try to pare it down.
There is a lot going on. So here we have the strawberry blossom, which activates optimism. The message is expect the best, and it magnifies an openness to growth opportunities, which I think you were somewhat talking about, and a fresh perspective. So I think when you have a fresh perspective, that becomes openness to opportunities becomes a byproduct of a fresh perspective. And this full moon feels like very supportive of that process for people, particularly Aries, who, you know, you just went through a whole diatribe of things going on with Aries that point them into something different for them. something that is really more aligned with who they are. So the strawberry blossom for Aries.
That's a very happy feeling, isn't it?
It is.
It's
It's a happy card.
yes, and that's like an awakening. I'm
Yeah.
awake.
It is. It is. Love
All
it.
right, so let's go to Taurus.
Yes.
Okay, so you're going to have the sun is in your second house, but the moon is in your eighth house. So this is a journey Taurans have been on for a while, involving finances, money, investments. Now, let's think about that in terms of the struggle. And Taurans have been, and I remember this is a Jupiter ruled full moon, even though these houses are not necessarily Jupiterian houses, but it's possible that the Taurans are seeking liberation to travel or to move around, but money hasn't let them, or money has been some form of a restrictive, which it could be for everybody. But I mean, with the Jupiter ruling, with the Jupiter full moon in your eighth house, there is a expansion of investments or money or inheritance or joint resources or pooling joint resources that enables you to walk a more soulful, your guru path, or your seeking of learning or traveling or expanding your mind, expanding your horizons. So something opens up financially for Taurans that enables them to walk more of that independent path. So it would be, now with the sun there's ideas. So maybe it comes in the form of an idea, but it could be information. Now, full moons tend to bring things to us. They tend to materialize things, but sometimes it comes in the form of an idea or communication or stumbling across a flyer. But something opens up your opportunities here on an endeavor that you've been trying to do. But again, this is trusting blind faith in this. So this is going to empower you to continue with blind faith to go ahead and do it. So some sort of nice financial shift occurs, or you get an idea to shift your money around in a situation that's more abundant, that then yields you more money. So then you can relax and have a little extra, because remember, Taurans do like financial security. They really do.
Yes.
Not like your Sagittarians. Sagittarians are crazy about money. They will leap off into the sunset with $5 in their pocket. They go, don't worry.
Yeah, that's where Madelaine, you and I we're on different ends of the spectrum there. I'm like, I feel like I need security, and you're like, everything will be fine.
Well, I don't have it easy. I know some people who really have that down, and they do. She does. One woman I know, she's amazing, and she's Taurus, but she's Scorpio rising, I think. And oh my gosh, she goes, no, everything. And she lands in the most great homes, the greatest situations. I mean, she really knows everything's going to be fine. And she literally is always fine. Like, I mean, we all are, but she really knows. She just has a centered knowing about it,
Well, and I feel like we all have that too. It's just,
Yeah.
I think this right here is what gets in the way of that. And so for Taurans, the chocolate daisy is the card for you / me. And the message is to simplify. And there's a mental spaciousness that is encouraged with this flower. I mean, you can even see the way it's opening up. And with the sun in Gemini, having some mental spaciousness is great. The mental spaciousness can help unstick any areas in your mind that are creating confusion or keeping you from taking a step, taking that leap, moving forward in some way in your life. And what's the other thing? Yeah, and there's an energy of spontaneity with this too. So there may be an opportunity that just really feels like a no-brainer. Like I'm just doing it, and you just leap in, and it turns out to be something amazing. And I don't know if it's something amazing, but I did take a leap of faith recently with an investment, and
Oh,
we'll see how it pans out. It's like one of those things where it just felt right, and I was butting up against a couple of small obstacles, and I'm like, no, I'm going to find a way through, and did it. And we'll see. But I think that's this just reminds us, I think, just to be lighthearted, not take life so seriously, and trust in the divine. It just, yeah, kind of cool.
yeah, interesting you say trust in the divine. It's like because that yellow on the inside and the outside are one. It's like that connecting to the solar energy.
Yeah, well, spell, yeah.
All right, Gemini. So this is my dad. You have Pluto in your ninth house, and which is spirituality, waking up, shifts in perceptions, open-mindedness, also technology. And then you have the sun in your first house, giving you a lot of confidence, initiative. You're going to have Jupiter in your first house in a few weeks. So Gemini are motivated, they're making new initiations, they're starting new things, all based on the new information that this full moon brings in that inspires them. But it also, this has been a path for them. This has been a journey for them. But also, sorry, this full moon is hitting in your seventh house. So that's technically a relationship house too. So you're getting a relationship. The shall we say, a relationship opens up. It can be a business partnership. It can't even be a lawyer. It can be a teacher relationship, maybe, in these energies. But you have a new partnership and it's a contracted partnership that enables you to take your soul purpose forward. That is like a soul contract energy. And with Gemini involved, it's ideas, businesses, communications, selling. And there's lots of new technologies coming out in health, like that are very healthy, like biofeedback. But I know that's not that new, but there's other things coming out like red chambers and salt rooms, and all kinds of. And some of these things are technological, like there's machines. I don't even know what they're called, but the apothecary up here has all kinds of cancer eliminating energies that shoot through your body. There's so much coming out that maybe perhaps a Gemini wants to invest in these, believes in this alternative healing, and invests and runs a business for this, or decides to be a practitioner in this area. But the full moon involves a relationship, a joint partnership, a contract, and now you have faith. And also, this full moon brings us sort of a deeper faith in this path, like okay, we're on the right track, like this is the right way to go. And so I'll invest money in this, and I'll contract now, join a contract. Like when you sign a contract around something, maybe a piece of real estate that you're going to sell from or develop, but some kind of a contract that you sign enables you to take this forward mission type guru path, because Jupiter is the guru, which is the teacher. And Gemini are very not, and Sagittarius Gemini is the information that's micro, which is useful, very practical. And then the macro, which is philosophy and religion, is Sagittarius. So we're really bridging the two. We're really bridging these two worlds together. So Gemini is going to be very much feeling a lot of this happening the strongest in probably everybody.
Well, they'll be happy to see this flower then, because it is the Arctic lupine, and the message is you are supported. It activates deep peace. So with all these things that may be happening in their worlds, just take some heart to this. It also offers effortless strength to face life's challenges, and feeling safe and protected. So for whatever reason, I just feel like Gemini really just needs a little extra something this moon cycle, and they got it with the Arctic lupine. Here you go.
Yeah, that is the color of Jupiter. Purple is Jupiter.
This even feels like, how like some flowers, like you just know that when you touch them, they'll feel really soft. Like this looks like one that would feel soft, like that silky smooth. And I don't know if it actually does, but it looks in this photo like it would. And it's almost like you just take it on your face and just feel like, oh, calm, you know? There is something about that. I don't know if anyone's ever done that. Just taking a flower on your skin. It just feels really, really luscious. I think that's the Taurus in me talking, but it feels so nice.
I'm going to try it.
Yeah, give it a go. Give it a go.
Right, Cancer. Cancer rising, again, you can look for your moon if you have a Cancer moon, because you're ruled by the moon. So full moons are very impactful for you, but also sun, of course. Your ascendant, I think, is 8 points. The sun is 4 points and the moon is 2. But I think for a woman, the sun is 4 points and the moon is 4 points and sun is 2. But anyway, that's something I'm reading about, which I find interesting.
That is really interesting. So that just kind of shows the
and then every planet is 1 point. So like Jupiter is 1 point. So then you like you can add all the points up together and see how much Cancer you are, or how much your rising sign you are, or how dominant, like, because you know, your ascendant is the most powerful, but then if you've got like sun and moon and other 2 signs, and then you've got a lot of planets in that sign, you're going to probably offset the ascendant to some degree.
Right. So like, yeah. So basically you're saying if you have, so I'll use myself as an example. I have four planets and 1 point in Leo, and my ascendant is Scorpio. So because I'm so heavy in Leo, that is a definite, there's a weight of energy to that. So okay. So just keep that in mind, folks, when you're
and that
looking
helps
at
you
your
understand
chart.
the transits too, because then you'll really feel it. For the Leo, the reading for Leo might even be just as you may feel it if you watch the Leo report.
Yeah. Well, and I think most people that watch and they're paying attention mostly to their sun sign, because most people know what their sun signs are. And then, you know, and then their moon and rising, not as much. But I think, listen, no matter what you listen to and what you'll glean, you'll feel whatever you need to know when you're tuning in. So either way, it's fine. But very interesting to know that about the energy. So
I know, I like that. All right. So for Cancer, no, we haven't done Cancer. So you guys are going to have it in your 6th house. The moon is going to be in your 6th house. The sun and Jupiter are coming into your 12th house, which is very interesting. It is a very sort of philosophical, it's a more introvert time. You're going to be learning a lot. That's, I already feel it. My head is deep in study. And we're just really sort of taking, so Gemini's information and Jupiter is going to come in there and really expand Cancer rising's information. And then the Sagittarius full moon in your 6th house then empowers you to be of more service. And this is a path that you've been on, most Cancers have been on for a while, and has been a struggle, and creating financial security through it was hindering your spiritual awareness or something, because Saturn is there in your 9th house, which is the house of Pisces. So there's something more Cancers are learning, and this full moon may be calling them ready, and that they've learned what they need to learn. So they can now be a full service in that area on this journey. And it's about information, knowledge, and spirituality. It can be astrology, it can be philosophy, it can just be teaching, it can also be involving medicines on some level, if the rest of your chart shows that you have more of a medicine chart, earth medicine type person, because that's the Virgo house. You are really learning enough to start your practice. Maybe you start having confidence, you have faith in this alternative healing, or even if it's Western medicine, you know, you could get a job as a nurse. I've looked at a lot of charts of people who have a lot of planets in the 6th house, are doctors, nurses, surgeons. Also this incorporates the Pluto part of the Scorpio part of the sky in Vedic. So that is the surgeon too, just, you know, throwing that in there. But so there's some sort of overcoming. Now again, this is a challenging house. It's the 6th house, so there might be frustration showing up here. There might be it's possible that this can be an energy of sticking up for yourself as well, because it's possible that information comes in that's counter to what you know, but you know it, you've discovered it's the truth, or you discover you do need to learn something, and or you discover that there's a truth through it all. Or it's hard to explain, like sometimes you can get philosophical differences, but they're really all true. Or you're being rigid minded and you want to open up to other alternative views. This is a mind opening experience here. So Cancer are opening their minds to sort of, like, this is a mutable sign, a mutable full moon, so we're changing our minds a little bit, that, and because of new information and things that are being revealed by that Pluto trine, that one supports our philosophical view and what we've been doing, that shows that, and then that restores our power, because these are very positive energies, even though it can feel intense and a little bit scary. But that's always going to be the story when Pluto's involved. So it triggers your sense of survival. And so you're getting new knowledge, new information that supports where you're being of service, preparing you to really step forward in the role of a teacher, in the role of, or something you're learning really opens up and expands your minds and enables you to teach something. There you go.
Okay. So the banana yucca, let me see if I hold it here, you can see it a little bit better. It's interesting because as you were wrapping up the reading of that for Cancer, that you literally like clicked into the energy of this flower. So this flower allows you to uncover your secret talents. It reveals hidden potential. It has a feeling of support when it comes to collaboration or leadership, which could be being a teacher. And there's a potential for unexpected leaps and bounds in your progress. And I felt like that would lead to potentially the leadership or collaboration. The being able to uncover your secret talents would allow you to feel comfortable to take a leap. So all of those somewhat connect together and felt very much in tune with your wrap up of Cancer. So the banana yucca for Cancer, I would hold it closer, but you can't really see it as well. Yeah. So, and it's cool. It's also, to me, it's also reminds me, it's feels like a soft, gentle, feminine kind of flower. Some flowers are not, there's a couple in here that are, they're flowers, but they feel harsher.
It's interesting because all these moons that we've been talking about since 2022, and I bet if I go back further, I would find that I began all my workshops on these new moons. All of my spiritual workshops, they begin every single time. And then I stop because I have Saturn right on my MC in the 9th house. So I was kind of confused about how to structure, and Saturn's about structuring. And I set up a structure that just is really confusing to me. Like I'm just, it was to do these different levels, and it was like suddenly somebody missed a level and then they wanted, and I was just like trying to juggle all these different levels, and I'm like, whoa. So Saturn and me are having a conversation right now about how to structure these workshops, but maybe this full moon now brings clarity, knowledge, and information for me to know how to do that.
Yes.
And then I start, because I've been like going, huh? Like
I feel like that.
And I have people, yeah, because I mean, I have my house and my MC in the 9th house, which is teaching. So I'm supposed to help in some level in that way. And then my son in the 6th house. So it's like I'm going to be of service this way.
It'll come
anyway,
clear. You'll know.
Yes. The journey.
It is.
As we say, we're just getting on different levels as we go.
All right. Leo.
So Leo, woohoo.
What's happening?
Leo. Wait, I gotta go this way. Okay, Leo. Whoops, wrong way. One sec. Leo, come on. Don't. Okay, there we go. Okay, interesting. Well, that's the Taurus. Let's see, we've got that 9th house and the 8th house and the 2nd house access for Leo. So
8th and 2nd for what?
For the, I'm sorry. Gosh darn it.
I think it's 11th.
I'm looking at 5th, the darn
right?
Saturn. Yes. Okay. Yes. So we've got the sun in the 11th. Sorry, I was looking at that Saturn in Pisces. So we've got the sun in the 11th, and then we're going to have the full moon in the fifth house, which is a really nice access for Leo. Okay, great. So actually, the fifth house is the Leo house. I mean, Leo is the fifth house. And so the sun there in your 11th house. So there's full moon. This is wonderful. This is like a creative project that's been on a journey, that's been a struggle, that you've been trying, that you thought would create more financial security on, which really hasn't seemed to pan out. But really, this is not the path of security. This is uncharted path. And this is where you're going to lead the way, because Leos are leaders. Leos are leaders, so they're leading the way here in a creative project. So they're going to have restored faith in that full moon in your fifth house, or you could get pregnant and have a child. But remember, pregnancy and having a child is the same as a creative project with a joint person, with a collaborative. Now, also the fifth house is entrepreneurial, and also the fifth house is our intelligence. So this is a full moon, and this is all about Gemini, is all about our intelligence, but also communication, social media, meeting new people. In the 11th house, the sun being there, Jupiter's going to be there for a year. So you're going to meet a lot of new people. And then now the fifth house is also performing. So social media, the 11th house, creative projects now reinvigorate. You feel confident about, you're excited to do it. There's been a struggle, as I said. I'm trying to think of anything else now. New information, new ideas, that support it, that really see that this is the right path to go, that this is that reinvigorates your faith in the project, creative project. How about that?
Well, I will say this. I have been working on my book, We to Me, for a few years now. And it's been, I wouldn't say a struggle, but it's definitely been a challenge, both in terms of the emotional aspects of it, because it's talking about disentangling from my not anymore husband, and the journey that was, which was a very challenging, emotionally trying one, and also very expansive and spiritually awakening. And the writing of the book has been a challenge in terms of having the letting go of the worry about how my not anymore husband, our children, our friends, people that I know, people that I don't know, will look at us, will judge, will whatever. And the bird's foot lotus is a flower that basically is saying, take charge. And it brings on this feeling of contentment and gets to the root cause of worry, and brings more ease into your life. So I feel like this is very much aligned, and there could be other Leos out there that have these dreams and visions or creative projects that they are really excited about and really want to bring to life. But for whatever reason, there's something that has stopped them because they're worried. Maybe they're worried about money. And that's definitely a piece of it. I mean, do I think this book is going to be a New York Times bestseller and make me a millionaire? Not really, but I do know that it's something that will benefit people that need it, and is part of the bigger picture of my mission here, which I feel will bring that financial stability in time. So, and that could be the story for other Leos as well, being able to take that excitement, and instead of feeling worry, translate that into excitement and move the ball forward in whatever project that is. That's how I'm receiving this flower, and what you were talking about, Madelaine, as far as the energy of Leo. So yeah, really, really interesting. So bird's foot.
And interesting that that's the yellow color of the sun, because Leo ruled by the sun, and it's about pride. It's about showing yourself and believing in yourself. And
yeah,
so
yeah,
it
is.
It works with Leo for sure. All
And
right.
that might be, hard when you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position. So some people, I mean, mine for sure is, but even when you're putting your dream out to the world, and it's like, are they going to buy it? Are they going to say, yes, me? Or are they going to say, no, I'm not interested in that? And then it's like, it's very vulnerable to do that.
It is. And that's when you make the big shift, because if you have your MC Leo, which you do, you're supposed to have complete and utter confidence in that. You're supposed, and that's going to be what makes you successful, because the Leo is full pride and full confident to be out there. So if you embrace your chart, then you know that's what people will, because that's what you were born to do.
Well,
and it's an interesting thing. This is an interesting concept about astrology. It's like, does it manifest us, or do we manifest through the astrology? It's like if you want to manifest in the 5D, you don't go, I wish I picked the winning lottery ticket. You go, here is the winning lottery ticket. Do you get the difference?
Yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying.
You're manifesting. This is important to be known, because you know, you manifest through that. Anyway, it's something to keep talking about.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like we could do a whole conversation on that, in terms of, it's almost like what came first, the chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
So like, for instance, you see in your astrology chart, you see a transit coming that looks really benefic. And then you just are very proactive around that, and you manifest a lot of positivity from it.
And that draws to you whatever that is that you were looking for. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that is absolutely true. It just gives you the confidence. I mean, I know I made an investment, I guess it was over a year ago, and I didn't know, based on astrology, that was a really good thing to do. I just went with my own inner knowing. But then when I heard it was a really good thing to do, I was like, heck yeah, that's great.
Well, that's so interesting, because I bought my property the day Uranus moved into Taurus, on May 15th, 2018. I'll never forget it. And the reason I did it, because it was way more than I could afford, I was going way against my comfort zone, was because I knew that when Uranus moves into Taurus, that it will bring you financial liberation within that year, or within the 8-year period. And 4 or 5 years in, it brought me liberation. So it was like, that astrology made me take the risk, not made me, but gave me the confidence to take the risk. And then I pulled the sun card, because my real estate agent said, pull a card on this. Should I do it? And I pulled the sun card. It was like, no doubt.
Yeah. And it panned out for you. It worked out exactly.
I love the property, and I sold half of it because I had to, because I bought more than I could afford. But I love the whole thing, is nothing but blessings.
But didn't you make some money when you sold it, though? So that gave you a little extra to work with? Yeah.
I paid off half, and I don't owe anything on it. I just have to pay taxes on it. So
that's great. Yeah.
But I struggled for a while, and it was scary as all get up.
Yeah. That financial fear, man. Woo. Yeah. Okay. So Virgo, what's going on with that?
Virgo. So Virgos, you're going to have this. Now you're ruled by Mercury. This is a mutable. Virgos are mutable. And this is a mutable full moon, which means, again, we're changing our minds. We're adapting. We're new information coming in, truths coming in that enable us, for Virgo, to where are they? So Sagittarius is your 4th house. So that's possibly moving, or changing in real estate, or you realize you want to move, or an opportunity comes in to travel and you leave your house, or you, because this is something about our path. This opens up to our spiritual path. So, and this has been a project for a while. So let's say you're Virgo rising, and you've wanted to work at home and do your practice at home, and you're a healer or a medicine person, or just running your administrative type person. You're ruled by Mercury. You now work at home. You found a way to work at home. New knowledge or information comes in that enables you to work from home. Or you buy a property or real estate, information comes in, or you discover the property or real estate that you want to buy. That then puts you on a more spiritual life, like you get to live where you want to, which is more connected to your soul. Gemini in your 10th house. So, and you're going to have Jupiter in your 10th house. So your career is going to be expanding for the year. And this Gemini, and then it's going to, the sun there and Jupiter coming in are definitely giving you ideas, new information, new knowledge to advance your career. Or you decide to sell because Mercury is selling as a career. You become a realtor selling property, real estate. But then this somehow frees you up or creates stability around your other spiritual practices or spiritual missions that you want to do. Like, let's say you want to do art, and it's, you know, art is such a medicine really in the world, and so you find spiritual expression in that, and so you have a stability, something stabilizes your career, so you can do that, so that it can play out in sort of interesting ways. What do you get?
So I find this flower very interesting, the pomegranate flower for Virgo, because this feels like the little missing piece for Virgos to step into this new home, new career path. It's important that they recognize the strength that they hold within themselves, that they detox and re-energize themselves in order to either be open to a new home or to be ready for the new career. Because Virgos, you know, the message of this flower is that they are taking on too much of other people's energy. So they're trying to make other people's lives easier. It's not like Libra where they're bending themselves into pretzels to make a relationship work. It's more like they're focused on trying to make everyone happy, and they're holding on to, maybe they're okay with working on a specific project, but it's really taking a lot more out of them than they expected. And instead of saying something about it, they just suck it up and do it just because they said they were going to do it and they know they can do it. It's one of those things where it's like about self-care and self-honor, and getting rid of those things in your life, in your body, that are not supportive of where it is that you would like to go. So that's the general gist of the pomegranate flower for Virgos. It feels very aligned, but slightly different angle on what you were saying, Madelaine.
Yeah, I just had an idea too because of something you said, but that they could also turn their home into a more spiritual sanctuary.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'll
They
have to
may
tell my
try to do Zen and Zen their home, not Zen, feng shui, and create a more spiritual space for meditation.
That sounds fun. I wonder,
Yeah,
I'll have to check with my daughter and see if she's doing
yeah.
something like
See what
that.
that is for her.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, Virgo are high mission people. So, you know, this is going to involve mission for them for sure. All right. So let's look now at Libra.
Libra.
So Libra, you guys are going to have this in your, so you guys have Sagittarius in your third house, and you're going to have the sun in your ninth. So talk about new ideas, new writing projects coming to fruition, like the next step in a struggle towards a project that is about writing. Or now the third house could be starting a business. Pluto is in your fifth house, so it's entrepreneurial. So you're overcoming a fear of taking a creative step forward and being more creative on a creative path. And so we've got this full moon in your third house. So it could be ideas, writing. It could be a new website that you then start, which is going to help your spiritual or your soulful or the thing that you want to do that's of more meaning, that isn't just, you know, dependent, that is the more independent path that will bring you abundance, and is in process of doing. And it's about going to be brain expansive, philosophical, because it's in the sign of Sagittarius. So, or spiritual expansive. So this project of writing or a website, there will be some sort of spiritual expansion, higher philosophy, a wisdom, part of the new paradigm, the new thinking that the Pluto trine is going to awaken in us. And so it's very much an independent, could start a business, start selling something that's much better for the environment, like bamboo Tupperware.
That's very specific.
Yes. Well, I call people to start making bamboo things, like guitar picks,
Yeah,
there's too many guitar picks all over the floor in my house anyway.
I agree. That was the same in our house. There were
Yeah,
piano picks constantly. You find them in the washer, the dryer,
right.
on the floor, in the clothes. It's like, hello.
I know. Yeah, someone could make a lot of money at doing natural guitar picks.
Yes.
So yeah, so knowledge information that's expanding, that makes you want to do something, that what makes you want to write, makes you want to speak, maybe a truth. Sagittarius is the truth. Maybe you want to write about something that's the truth. Start a new business that is more on like that is about the truth of what we need on this planet. So there you go.
All right. We have the saguaro cactus
Oh,
for Libra. And this is a flower that is the energy of purity of the heart. And there's a willingness to be of service with this flower. And that's pretty much, to me, if you think about the ninth house, it's higher mind, higher thinking, but it's also serving,
yeah.
serving others. And this also brings in effortless problem solving. So that we've got a little of that Gemini component to it and that third house component to it. And so it's a divine masculine sort of energy of that effortless problem solving. So it's not like strategic necessarily, it's more flowy. Um, yeah. And so just, yeah,
You
that
know,
feels very
there's
supportive.
yes, and that's a creative self-expression sort of energy, like the inside coming out. Um, which is going to be spiritual. Like that's another thing. Like poetry is writing. It's very spiritual. It's like
Yeah.
it's more about the soul. It's communicating the soul. So it's like some sort of soul expression.
Yeah. It does
I
feel like that. Definitely. Definitely. All right.
I went on a sauna last night. I feel I think I like permanently red. All
You
right.
seem like it on the camera, but
Okay,
I
good.
hear you.
All
All
right.
right.
Um,
Scorpio.
so yes, so we've got Sagittarius in your second house. So this is a financial and then we're going to have the sun in your eighth house. So this is a new job, new way of earning money. And again, this is on your path towards this journey of independence and with a meaningful and probably beneficial to the rest of the world endeavor. And and the second house is about talents, and it's about having better self-esteem, believing in ourselves, like self-value, valuing ourselves. Sometimes a full moon in the second house can show you where you don't value yourself, and it can be painful. But on the other side of that, you take actions that you then step into that are valuing yourself. It drives you to take more higher actions that represent self-value. And we're talking about independence because we're at that 0 degree point in Aquarius. So there's a move to independent earning money in a way that you really desire, that is soulfully desire. We're not talking about like lower, Scorpio can have lower desires. We're talking the higher mind desires. So that will eventually, it is your guru path, as it were, that will eventually, and maybe even right now, because it's a full moon, it could show financial sustenance and support on this path for you. Pluto in your fourth house, fears about living, security, heritage, family lineage, ancestral karma being cleared through that transit. But with the moon, with the sun in the eighth, it's joint resources, inheritance. Now it's a full moon there with the sun there, so it reveals perhaps a debt, or I suppose maybe you do get some money. Maybe there's potential that there's a rebate or a financial support of some sort from an outside source that bears fruit, I suppose. But then if you're getting a job in the second house, I suppose maybe the job in the second house may be not bearing as much fruit as you like, or money at this moment. And don't forget Jupiter's in combustion, guys. So it's still held back a little till June, but income, joint income, resources coming in, revealing that you need to get a job. It could be like suddenly
You want to make money, you need to work.
I like the energy of getting a job, but it's going to be very in alignment with something that's true and right for you. So it's going to make you happy.
So it feels like this card goes along with this, but not in a totally linear way. So this, let's see, I got to hold it back here again so you can see it. So this is Bee Balm, and Bee Balm has a message of hope and stillness. And so I find for me in my life, whenever I'm making decisions when it comes to money, or I am really reflecting on my values and what I value and how I am valuable, there's a place of stillness that needs to take hold. And then there's a feeling of hope in order to, maybe put money into something or purchase something where there may be a level of debt. And Bee Balm also gives you a soothing sense of calm during times of transition. So there might be transition for some Scorpios happening right now related to how they feel about themselves, how they show up in the world, how they're utilizing their money, what they're spending their money on, any one of those variables. And then how are they feeling about it? Are they feeling worry and anxiety and stress? Or are they feeling an unusual sense of calm and peace, knowing that everything will work out and they're somewhat lighthearted about it? And I can speak to this because I've been feeling that myself. Normally things that relate to money would be very anxiety producing for me, where I feel so in the flow of myself and the world around me that there is a little bit of like, whew, okay, all right. But I also feel at peace that no matter how it plays out, everything will be okay. So this, Bee Balm, I don't know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the Fool or a Jester hat, and you're taking that step off the cliff and you don't know what's there, but the likelihood is high that there's a step or a net or someone that's going to catch you, or maybe it's another version of you that's going to catch you, to get a little bit esoteric and out there. So Bee Balm for Scorpio. I can see the wheels turning, Madelaine.
Yeah, and that's an interesting full moon, though, message for this full moon, which is we've been on that path and it doesn't seem like it's paying off and we want more security, but we've always been taken care of.
Right.
And like Saturn holds back, but it won't let you starve. So we're okay in this journey,
Yeah. What was it?
important.
One of my friends was telling me, he's a Vedic astrologer, Saturn. Oh, it was such a good saying. I don't think this is it, but it was something to the effect of Saturn will restrict and will reward. That was not quite it, but that's kind of the general gist. And I feel like most of us can relate to that, where there's like a restriction for a period of time, but then ultimately there is a reward given.
Yep. Because there's a spiritual lesson or a maturing that has to happen before you can get the rewards of that.
Yeah. So cool. Okay.
Okay.
Sag. Oh boy.
Oh,
Let's see what's
wow.
going on.
Sagittarius. Okay, great. Good, because my son is double Sag, so we need some good things.
Good things for him. Good things for
Yes.
Matt.
Okay, yeah. Come on back. All right, so full moon in your first house. So this is great. So this is again another level of the struggle and a journey. This is winning in the end. You're going to have your ascendant on this nakshatra. There's a couple of nakshatras. I think there's another one in Sagittarius because this goes to 16 degrees, but or 14. But anyway, which is struggles, and you win in the end. It's a long-term struggle. And so this has been tough. And again, with your ruling planet in combustion, it's not easy yet, but you're going to see light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to see progress. You're going to see an opportunity come up, which gives you back on that track, back on that road. You may have given up and surrendered, And now you're back on this path, and there's an opportunity coming in. And my son actually does have a rather interesting opportunity this week, exactly on the new moon, I mean, full moon. So something works out in your favor, which then puts you on your true path again, which reinvigorates your faith in walking your independent path. And it's involving something that you desire, because I keep pulling the Page of Wands on this, which is like, it's from desiring of the fire in you, like it inspires you to live. It makes you want to get up. It's your passion. So there's some sort of really great opportunity opening up for you, a new initiation. But again, it's part of something that you initiated before that didn't work out, that you weren't mature enough for because you've got Saturn. Well, sorry, my son's ascendant Pisces. He's got Saturn on his ascendant, but which is not easy. So, yeah, so basically victory. This is really victory for the Sagittarians. And again, it may not seem so yet, but hang in there. And then we have the sun in your 7th house. So relationships and partnerships and perhaps contracts being signed during this period, and co-partnering or co-collaboratives, or a relationship, your true person. And my son is a musician, which is a very spiritual thing. And so, in the sense that it's healing our soul, music actually is one of the best medicines, because it creates harmony and energetically reharmonizes our frequencies in us. It raises our energetically, literally shifts us into balance, into harmony.
Yeah.
So, we need musicians. I don't think I'd be alive if it wasn't for some of the music that I've sung through some of the more challenging times.
Oh yeah. Music. So healing.
So
healing.
yeah.
So we have the rhododendron for Sagittarius. And I love this message for everything you described, Madelaine, for just the trials and tribulations that Sagittarians have been through. This activates compassion. The message is be kind to yourself. And there's a feeling of motherly love from this card. So it's so cute how at the beginning you mentioned your son in terms of that motherly love. It's the moon, mother. Lots of that sort of soft energy. We got this pink, there's softness to it. And then it also provides a sense of steadiness. So it's almost like, okay, Mac, just be steady. It's working out. And then equanimity. I mean, how beautiful is that to have that sense of peace and calm and connection between the heart and the mind, and it's just easy. So I love the message of the rhododendron for Sagittarius.
Yes, that looks very, shall we say, breaking through. There is something about rigid thinking in this transit too, like the shadow aspect of this Sagittarius is like rigid thinking. And so it's like breaking. A lot of Sagittarians, they need to break out of some kind of rigid opinion. And so I know my son that looks like breaking out of some sort of rigid.
Yeah, it does. But it's a soft, and there's a softness. It's not like it's breaking through and it's like, I don't know, pointy and jagged. It's like, it feels okay. It feels okay. So,
yeah. Okay, Capricorn. So Capricorn are going to have this transiting in their, Sagittarius is in their
6th and 12th
house, of course, 12th house, Sagittarius. So the sun's going to be in their 6th. Again, this is a challenging access. Frustrations, stress. Sun in the 6th is going to make you very stressed out in the head. That's going to be challenging. The sun in the 6th every year for rising Capricorn during Gemini season, they must get very stressed. So, but also it is a full moon about perhaps quitting something, realizing you need to quit something, maybe quitting something that stresses you out, or some kind of short distance commuting, because it's the third house is Gemini, which can be short distance travel that stresses you out, or some sort of living way of living that you find stressful. Now, with the full moon in your 12th house, there's a spiritual solution. There's like a revelation for how to calm down, how to become more spiritual. Spiritual practice opens up, maybe a new spiritual practice. And shall we say, sort of, or going into the country more, because the 12th house is the country, and being more introvert for a period. It's very meditative, that energy. Maybe a lot of Capricorns start seriously taking meditation on. And if you are a practitioner, for instance, and you've been on the independent path, I know some Capricorn, and you're on a creative independent path. I know some Capricorns who are really forging a path that way. And you've lost faith because it stresses you out, because it's not bringing money, because Capricorns like a lot of security, so they get very stressed. Starts to show financial progress enough to make you calm and ease and soothe your stresses. But also, this information with Pluto in your second house is good news around money. So maybe that's part of why the Capricorns are relaxed. Some good news around truth around money. Maybe they get a tax return, or they get exonerated from paying some sort of tax or something. But there's a restoration of faith around fears of money and stresses, and also the karmic trauma, because the Pluto, that 12th house, can be past life sort of traumas. And with the full moon there, you see the source of a past life trauma that's fueling your stress. And it may not be logical, or because it's spiritual, there's a spiritual awakening that your family heritage, or that your source of stressful thinking finds solutions through, like you become spiritual about something. This full moon is the path of spirituality, so go ahead.
So as you were starting your Capricorn monologue,
Yes.
you're starting with stress and anxiety, and I was like, oh gosh, I can feel my Capricorn people just going,
Yeah.
no, what, Madelaine, what are you saying? And but then it kind of smoothed out towards the end. So I'm coming in here to maybe expand on what you were saying earlier. And I feel like with Capricorns that this gravilia, or I'm trying to hold it in a place where you can really see all of it. It activates fearless speech. And I think what's happening with a number of Capricorns that I know is that they have opportunities to speak their minds. That's the message of this flower. And they're not necessarily fully embracing that. And this dissolves the habit of hesitation. So Capricorns, if you're in a situation where it's important for you to speak your mind, to say something that's really true to your heart, you can say it in a way that feels that doesn't feel harmful to the other person, but you're clearing up something, that 12th house aspect, you're clearing that up so that you can step into something different for yourself. There's an energy of, what's the key word here that I wrote down? Being more authentic in your interactions. Not to say you're not authentic in your interactions, but there's a lot that you may not say because you're scared of the other person's response, not closing a deal, burning a bridge, whatever that is. And so it's finding a more diplomatic approach, and then being able to really say what you need to say in that situation in a way that isn't going to leave your mind continuously chewing on that same thing, because that's part of that energy of Gemini being, or the sun being in Gemini right now, is your mind can get lost in all of the chatter. So really being able to speak what's on your mind so that it doesn't continue to take up space in your head is going to be one of your keys to kind of completing some of these loops that are hanging about for you right now.
I'm going to throw that word control in there, because Capricorn are kind of controlling. So it's kind of like what you're saying, like let go of the control a little bit.
Yeah. And you know, it's
Hey,
also,
Capricorns are pessimistic and they can be kind of negative. So they see the pessimistic. Jupiter is hard in Capricorn because Jupiter wants to be wants to be optimistic, and Capricorn is Saturn, which is pessimistic. So,
yeah, so they're at odds.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Aquarius.
All right, almost there. So Aquarius, you guys have this full moon in your 10th, 11th, and 5th. So a full moon in the 11th house would be people that you met, or tribe, or groups of people that you've been meeting in these series of full moons and new moons that we've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 years, that are expanding your consciousness, spirituality, waking you up, but also are potential co-collaborators, co-collaboratives, but also because it's in your 5th house, the sun, involving creative projects and friends. So there's like a new group. I don't know if it's a new group of people. I think you've already met them, and now the purpose of you knowing them and how these tribe group are a part of your spiritual mission, a part of what you're here to do, something that genuinely fulfills you from a soul level, that inspires you. So it's like meeting these people that maybe what you're going to do with them hasn't transpired yet, but now in this full moon you start to see why you know these people, how they're important for you on your journey here, on this journey that we've been talking about towards a fulfillment, living a fulfilled life on your spiritual path, where you want to make a difference in the world. Now also full moon in the 11th house, you could suddenly decide to get out there on social media and be out there and be a bit of a guru, light bringer, teacher. So, but now information and knowledge is coming through to you, and you've got Pluto in your 1st house, which is all about initiating things and transformational, big transformation having to Aquarius. So it's like this transforms your perspective, and you suddenly see the importance. You wake up to the importance. We've been talking about this for Aquarians for a while, but you wake up to an importance of being someone here to lead us into the new earth, and maybe you meet people, or you become more of a personality on your social media network could suddenly take off. But you are reinvigorated. Maybe you've been insecure about something you believe about spirituality and the new ways that we're evolving, and now you wake up to it and you're much more confident about it. You now take initiation for it. See what you got.
So we have yarrow, and the yarrow flower was in the full bloom mist that I was speaking about at the beginning. What I find interesting about this flower, I'm trying to hold it in a place where everyone can see it, is when it comes to Aquarian. So it's funny because this is an 11th house activation here. And this flower is basically saying to Aquarians to take a digital detox. It's time to recharge. And the way I receive that in terms of what's happening cosmically is that, yes, you may have that opportunity to really expand and grow your reach on social media. However, it's important that you take a time for yourself to reset. It's almost like coming within to receive the messages or receive the guidance that you're then going to share, versus looking everywhere else and then maybe regurgitating something you saw somewhere else. It's about really coming back into you. This also has the energy of clearing your mind and your energy. So I love this in terms of the Gemini energy of the sun being in Gemini, of clearing the mind. There's a lot of messages of the mind for these cards, these flowers, this moon cycle. And the yarrow flower will also detox your energetic field. which I feel like is so important right now for Aquarians, because like you've mentioned before, Madelaine, it's like they're the ones that are leading the way. Well, we want the way showers to have a clear energetic field that's not being cluttered up or muddied by outside or non-beneficial sources. So clearing their energetic field is fantastic. And I have someone in mind that I'm thinking about for that is an Aquarius that has been going through a lot. And this is a prime time for this person to clear your energy, keep yourself in tune with what you're here to do. Don't get distracted by all the things that are out there, and continue to take one step at a time, leading you down that path. And you'll see, as you're clearing all that stuff, the baggage, the weight of all of these different things that have happened, it's going to line you up with exactly where you need to be, and will eventually birth something new through likely a tribe or social media or interactions, with the world. But it's really time for them to kind of clear up their own stuff first. So
Yes.
yarrow.
Well, the entrepreneurial, also the sun is in the fifth house, which is entrepreneurial stuff too. So this is back and forth through some sort of entrepreneurial venture or creative project, or pregnancy, having children for some Aquarians.
Beware.
Yep.
Okay, rounding
Okay.
it out with Pisces.
Pisces, last but not at all least.
Nope.
The spiritual sign of all, Pisces. So they're going to have Sagittarius in their 10th house. So that's great. That's great. Gemini in the sun in your fourth. So illuminating, maybe a move because of a career shift. But a struggle in your career, Pisces, that has been Pisces, when they go where they want to go, it's going to be naturally sort of spiritual because they're ruled by Neptune. So they kind of have a dreamy perception of, they walk a sort of dreamy path a little bit. So they're gonna get their dream job, their dream career, full moon there, something really opens up for their career in alignment with their spiritual, intuitive fulfillment, soul desire that they've been on, that hasn't necessarily been working. That's been a struggle. This is victory in the end. It is happening on the star of success. So it is, again, the lotus flower through the muddy waters, expanding and giving the beautiful spirit, expressing your spirit, knowing that this journey was because you're going to grow into a spiritual purpose in it, in the sense that it was for the benefit of humanity. And again, guru is the teacher, it's the light. So it's most Pisces have a guru career because they have Sagittarius. So a lot of times they're musicians and creatives, very creative sign. So it's like a very powerful spiritual opening and opportunity, which is really your true path that you truly desire the most. Opportunity opening up. You could get promotion if you are a Pisces in a corporate type of a situation. And this promotion puts you in a position where you can express your spiritual or your philosophy and improve the higher consciousness of your company, because you have this new position. So now you can change the consciousness of the company. For instance, they're using plastic and you change them to starting to use bamboo.
That's a theme.
That's the theme throughout the show today.
Yeah.
So sort of an ability to really feel traction and progress in your career realm, and knowledge, information, communication coming in. Again, it could just be full on communication coming in that's the promotional. And but with Pluto, let me just take 12th house. Wow, interesting. Pisces are going to do a lot of transformation through karma in this 20-year period that Pluto's in their 12th house. So they become very much the power back from a karmic loop, which might be what stops them from having faith in their career, in this spiritual path, in this mission, in this, because the reason Pisces have a hard time, they tend to walk in poverty a lot, and it's part of the sign, because they don't believe, they're so sensitive that they believe the mainstream belief, like they can't harness their true center self amongst all the other opinions. So they tend to go with the negative, but once they shift into true empowerment in the center, they follow their truth, desire, their soul. The fish is the truth. Your dharma, which is in your astrology, they find success because then they are in alignment with their soul. But they get influenced by so much in the head that they start going, oh, I better not do that. I better do that. I better not do that. I better go that way. Bit Capricornian in a sense. They have Capricorn over their 11th. So anyway, so yeah, I think that kind of covers it.
All right. Well, we have the night blooming Sirius, which I will point out was also on.
What? That's wild. Oh, well,
Yes.
that's the deck. So, right.
So, but it's perfect though, that we started with this and we're finishing with this. So, I mean, you can't make it up. It's just the way it goes.
That's so a cycle. Wow.
It's so cool. So this reminds Pisces to be fearless, to take a leap, to recognize that they have courage within them to reach their full potential. They have what it takes to reach their full potential. And it dissolves subconscious limitations. I love that. Dissolving subconscious limitations, because there's so many things holding them back that they're not even aware of. So I love the night blooming Sirius for Pisces. Now, earlier, I think when we were talking about Scorpio, 2 cards came out, but I was kind of, I had my own system of which cards mean what, but the Lotus did appear.
Wow.
So, because for some of these, two cards, maybe sometimes 3 cards came out, but I had a system where if it was a certain way, I knew it was the card for that sign. But because this came out and because you were talking about it at the beginning, I wanted to show it and to share it and to share a couple of messages from it. So the pink lotus activates divine wisdom, and the message is look within. And I feel like that's a great overarching message for everybody to take away for this moon cycle and every day, is to look within. You have what you need within yourself already. Spiritual insight, understanding. It's spiritual in nature. What was the thing you said, Madelaine?
Did we pull a card for Cancer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, the Cancer card was, one second. But the banana yucca.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't seem like a flower to me, but whatever.
Do you want to see it again? I'll show you really quick.
Yes. I didn't really get vibe a message from the Cancer card. I'm going to see if I do when I look at it this time.
Let me look at that. Do you remember it now?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah. Okay. I get it. It's not all the way open there, but I guess it's better than this.
Yeah, than totally contracted. But
yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like beautiful, beautiful astrological messages, really on point. And the flowers seem to be very supportive. And I guess another reminder that we have what we need.
Yeah. And we had a lot of synchronicity in this today with the lotus and the
night blooming Sirius flower. Yeah. Even the yarrow, which was also in the blend, came through today. So we appreciate
synchronicities, I guess, during this full moon too, because I think synchronicities really are going to show up, especially when you're in alignment. You're going to start seeing a lot of synchronicities.
Exactly. So let me see if there's any. All right, a couple people still on, but I don't see any questions, so that's good. Well, I guess we did an okay job, Madelaine. No one had any questions.
We answered all their questions.
Yeah. So we will be back here on June 4th. I believe it was June 4th. Yes. Tuesday. So Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 Pacific, doing the same thing for the new moon in Gemini. So likely be a bit of a continuation to the story from this moon cycle. It'll be very interesting to see what you know, the Sag, you know, kind of the Sag vibe and then the Gemini vibe, how that all shakes out. And be sure to comment and like on both of our pages. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your energetic participation, whether you were on live or you're watching the replay. We feel you. We're here for you, and we look forward to seeing you again in a couple weeks.
And thanks for watching, everybody. People come and tell me I watch. I go, way, yay. Thank you.
It's so fun. We love it. Keep watching. All right, everyone.